Now I do want to ask how that happened. How did you guys? Because you guys didn't know I was going to ask you to do that. I told you that I was going to ask.
That wasn't in my writer.
You were trying to see if we were authentic or not, or we could just do it on the spot.
I know you guys. Come on.
I had all this stuff prepared.
It's on my sleeve.
So is it the BPM? You said that you were going at a beats per minute, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
And then you just kind of figure out like where the beat goes, and then you kind of right, and then that's how it works. So when you know your craft, you can do these kinds of things
On the spot.
on the spot. You should be able to.
Absolutely.
Where am I? Any aspiring DJs here? Anybody here? Never. Oh, we got
a couple. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Don't be
shy. Anybody who want to be a DJ? Don't be shy.
Yeah. So I guess I'm sure you have a question, perhaps, and we'll save it. But for people who are looking to pursue this as a profession, the one thing to always take note of is that at all times you have to kind of be prepared, right?
I mean, through practice, this is hours upon hours of practice. So, but it is very antisocial in the beginning, but it leads to a very social life in the end.
So, I lost a few girlfriends.
No way.
Behind wanting to stay in my room and practice.
But got a lot of jealous ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, I got jealous ex-girlfriends.
Got a lot of jealous ex-girlfriends.
Not really feeling the guard right now.
I'm not even going to talk about what you did to get to be ex-girlfriends, because the social scene does have its perks and its consequences.
Yeah, there are pros and cons.
Yeah, you got to plead the fifth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's
right?
levels.
There are levels. Yeah.
There are levels. Yes, there are levels to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in terms of how you pursue this as a career, I believe it was the philosopher of A Tribe Called Quest by the name of Q-Tip, the sage, right? Who said, who said, industry rule 4080, record company people are shady, right? So, how do you survive the music industry? Because both of you do this full time. You had a day job.
Yep.
And now this is your day job. Huh? I know. Yeah. So now this is your day job, and this is how you feed your family. This is how you
feed my dog.
Yeah, well, that's your family. Or maybe you gotta get, mom. Maybe mom. Somebody needs a
where's baby moms coming from?
No, I
said moms. No, baby moms.
Hey, I wouldn't do that to you. You got your mom. You got family. Sometimes they may need.
You gotta project your voice a little bit higher.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No children. But there are these issues of, trying to keep the bills paid. This equipment is expensive. Maintaining it is expensive.
When you're good like us, you get it for free.
Yeah.
That kind of defeats the purpose.
But if you're practicing for hours upon hours, eventually there's wear and tear.
I mean, everybody's had the wackest mixer and wackest turntable. Let's not get into that. But I really think these two individuals right here, any of your favorite DJs right now cannot say that they can call Rain and get their mixer fixed, or the button broke, can I send it back and fix it? They'll fix it for you for free. Oh, and while you're at it, here's the new upgraded version of so-and-so, and things of that nature. And that's what I've learned over the years, and I think that's what keeps us alive, is that we have relationships. There's nothing wrong with, me personally, I don't have a website, I don't have a blog, I don't have none of that stuff.
Just Facebook, Instagram.
I just have relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? Instagram is one thing, Facebook is another, but if you're not dealing with people on a regular basis, you're not going to be able to maneuver around the way we maneuver. I can count on my hands how many times a month I DJ in New York compared to how many times I DJ outside of the country. And I really don't care if I DJ in New York, because it really doesn't matter.
And then there is this issue of the promoter who thinks, paying this person that much money is not...
because it all comes around. They still gonna come. They gonna need you for something anyway. I just had a situation like that. I don't want to say no names. They was like, look, man, we want you to come to our club. It'll be a good look. I said, it's a good look if I come to your club. What do you mean it's a good look if you come to the club? I got looks. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a look. A look.
Yeah, they try to get over
Jordache, that was the slogan for Jordache and Sergio Valencia. You got the look. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, a lot of promoters are trying to get over on DJs, and they don't want to come out of pocket for damn near anything. They don't want to pay. You know, they figure, I don't know. They try to sell this dream like, you know, they're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
But honestly, if it wasn't for us, you would have nothing to display. So without a DJ, you have no music. There's no music being played. There's no atmosphere being created. So we're really doing you the favor. And, you know, all we ask is to be compensated, you know, fairly for
as professionals.
Exactly.
As professionals.
You know,
as champion professionals.
Well, I mean, champion
or not. Does that affect the scale? Does that affect the pay rate once you get a title? Seriously, I have no. I'm asking because I really don't know.
I mean, over the years, you're gonna sacrifice to do certain things to create relationships. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is the thing why I'm also very proud of this guy, because it's not about him being the one of the latest world champions or U.S. champion or regional champion. It's about the fact that he took what was documented and created a lane for himself to get paid. And that's the bottom line. Like, you know, I see DJs all day online false advertising me. Look at me. I'm taking a picture with Jay-Z. I'm taking a picture with so-and-so. I mean, if you're a radio DJ, that's one thing, because that's bound to happen because they walk in and out the radio station. That's something totally different. But when you're like Cat in the Hat DJ, push button stand from around the corner, and you got this $1,300, $1,500 website with no dates, like you're not doing any parties,
empty calendars.
We call that false advertisement.
Yeah.
You got the bestest flash, the Dobo player, you got this, that, all kind of things going, and no work.
So how do you manage, you know, the high, I would say, it's very much so in flux with the music business and getting bookings and having bookings that stay, you know, having dates that get canceled and you may have needed that check to pay a bill, or, you know, how do you...
There's always going to be ups and downs, just like in life, you know what I'm saying?
So how do you plan for that, you know? Like, is it, you know, you have to plan monthly? Do you have to, you know, how do you...
You don't buy that Birkin bag for your girlfriend when she wants the Birkin bag.
Okay, that's what, yeah, frugal spending, being conscientious of spending.
You have to, because there's no health benefits in this. There's no insurance in this.
Yeah. There's no health benefits.
There's no you know, 401k plan. You know?
The retirement issue, planning issue. We're my 101 students, my English 101, and we're talking about money management, and I'm sure some of them are...
I'm about to talk to some of them after this is over.
and I know that there is this issue of, you know, being an independent artist, you have, you know, you work for yourself, which is great. I think I'm really in love with Fabulous Soul Tape 3. I don't know how many of you have it, but I can't stop playing it. I was playing it before I came to class this morning. Which really affects my vibe. And so there's the song that he did with Jadakiss, and Jadakiss says, you know, if you work for somebody at all, if you're not working for yourself, then you're a slave.
Yeah.
You know, and so there is some empowerment in being independent and taking ownership of your career.
The best thing about being independent is being able to say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just no, like, nah, I'm not doing that.
And honestly, working for yourself, it doesn't feel like work. It's not work.
If you love it.
If you love it.
This isn't work.
This isn't work
This
at all.
This is an opportunity to let people know, like, whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it, man. Like, this isn't like, if I was to say this is what I was going to be doing 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm going to be going to France. And yeah, I'm going to be doing parties in Rome and this. And people look at me like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's actually true. I have partied in Rome. I have DJed in Paris. I have been to Ibiza. I have been. I mean, and this guy, he's on the come up. Don't sleep.
I know. New Year's Eve, you were abroad.
Yeah, I was in Sweden.
Yeah.
I mean,
having chocolate.
Having chocolate and talking Swedish to Swedish people. I'm crazy.
And nothing for nothing. And to add on, my friend right here, DJ Om, she's from Japan. She done DJed in 4 to 5 upscale hotels, all kind of things going on. And she's not from New York.
And she speaks English.
By way of Hawaii, right? By way of Hawaii.
Yeah, you know, so.
Yeah.
But it's like, all I'm saying is this, man. Like, we put in too much work to not see any benefits off of it. And whether you're a producer, a DJ, an MC, a manager, you know, an accountant, anything in that realm, you can do it. It's there for you. Like, it's definitely there.
So I remember in a conversation that I had with, well, I guess I can say it. I was talking to Fat Gary, DJ Premier's manager. Premier's one of cool people. And so I remember I was talking to Gary a couple of months ago, and one of the things he was saying was that for people that are in the line of work that you're in, it's usually, he said sometimes, it's better to have somebody that you can team up with, in terms of family life, that may be more stable, so that when there is the dry spell that inevitably occurs with work, that there's somebody that does have benefits, that may have retirement savings, may have the ability to at least lend support and encouragement, as opposed to kind of going it alone. Or do you feel that it's kind of a toss up either way?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go either way with that. I personally wouldn't need that, but that doesn't mean that's not going to work for the next person. So I'm not going to knock it. I personally wouldn't need it. I don't need it, but if that's what somebody else needs in their world, then so be it. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, being able to do it for a long time obviously means you know how to manage some type of money, because you're gonna lose your mind at first. Like, let's be realistic. Like if you run into a couple of $1,000s for an hour set, and you really don't have no responsibilities, what do you really think you're gonna do? Like at 21 years old, 19 years old, you're gonna lose your mind.
Stress.
But I will say, as you get older, you learn how to live with, amongst your means, and certain things just don't matter. And especially if you have, I don't know if anybody here has a family or children or whatnot like that, but I don't have any kids. I can't say Esquire have any kids.
I don't think I have any kids.
Yes,
that you know about. I'm saying, it's like, I mean, we still have, when certain people may look at us like we're in the spotlight, like our aunts or our mothers or our cousins, or and of course we gotta provide at times, you know what I'm saying? But then there's the rule of being an independent artist. Sometimes you just gotta say no.
Now, does battling pay? I mean, I know that there's the championship and there's the golden mixer or something, right? But is there money in that as opposed to doing like nightclubs?
In the golden era of battling, there were a lot more competitions than there are now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
A lot of them paid very well for the top prizes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were like, there was a lot of money in this industry, in the battle industry. I would say like a decade ago, where you could get 5 G's for winning a battle, 10 G's for winning a battle. I mean, a lot of people did well. I did very well in the golden era. I won a scooter, which was awesome.
Should we not have the IRS watch this?
They'll get you.
Oh, okay.
That's
true.
Yeah,
that is absolutely.
They're gonna get their money. So don't. You can't.
I mean, when we were coming up, there were more. You didn't necessarily have to win a battle to make money being a battle DJ.
Did you need sponsorship or something? Or
no, you just had to have hustle, determination, and build with people and create relationships and figure out how to, like, oh, really? DMC is offering 6 stacks to do a 30-minute mix? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's done. Here. Like those days are over. Like those days, the quick fix, the quick licks, as we used to call them days are over. Like,
what about mixtapes selling, or is it now just because SoundCloud is free and people put their stuff up?
SoundCloud is actually doing like a copyright infringement thing now, so you gotta watch that. Yeah, you gotta watch them SoundClouds because people will come after you for them songs.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't actually. On SoundCloud, you can't even load up a song that
you don't own
the rights to.
Yeah.
It will block you.
Yeah, they will block you.
Yeah. Wow. So like for us doing mixes, like as DJs doing mixes on SoundCloud, we have to go through other provisions to actually get the mix up on SoundCloud.
Right.
Because of those copyright.
And there's a new system where they're doing it where if you do a mix and you go through a certain company, you get, part royalties off it, for the people behind you doing all the dirty work of clearing the songs and things of that nature.
So that's like what
that's like the new hustle.
Cornerstone,
right
like the Cornerstone.
Nah, not Cornerstone. That's like radio.
Oh, okay.
Just talking about if you felt like doing a Billy Joel mix. If somebody's behind you and wants to go through Columbia Records and clear all those Billy Joel records, you would be able to put it up there and get paid off it.
Right.
Oh, I see. So then the one that you most recently did, DJs Need Teaching, I think.
I did that with Privilege.
Yeah. So did Privilege have to take care of all the clearing? You don't have to do it.
And they paid me.
Yeah. I remember.
Teddy King's a nice guy, isn't he, Esquire?
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
So with a battle.
Time for another one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta submit
your Brooklyn.
I gotta
heard about that
to him. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you are on SoundCloud, I think it was Privilege Music, Dumb DJs Need Teaching.
There's also a 45 mix I did.
The 45 plays in 45s.
A Farrah March mix I did, like a 12 mix European joint.
And I did hear your definitive DITC, which is an ancient mixtape.
Yeah, I didn't put that up there.
Somebody did though.
Yeah, they took it down.
No, it's up there.
It's down.
I just played it.
It's down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's down.
When did that happen?
That happened maybe like a week ago.
Oh, okay.
It's only up if you go to like Ego Trip Land or somewhere like that.
Yeah. And that was like a double CD.
That's kind of protected. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have a copy of that CD?
On me?
No, like do you have it? Because apparently it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
Compared to Live from the PJs.
I bootleg it all the time. I made it.
I hope so, yeah. Now, what did you in terms of mixtapes? What was your most recent project that you?
So me and another DJ, DJ Tim Martell, we're both 80s fans. So there's so much, it's a decade of music, but everybody really listens to the mainstream music, like the Prince, the Michael Jacksons, the Madonnas, like everybody listens to the same songs, and there's so much great music from that era that people don't know about, and a lot of things that I like to do, because I also teach, I also teach this art, is educating people on music that they may not even know about. So we came up with a concept tape called Rarities, but we say Rare 80s, but we call it Rarities, where we just take songs from the era that people may not be familiar with, but it's really great music. And we just put a compilation out in December. Our second one is out in December.
Yeah, I like the second one. I mean, the first one was the second one.
The second one. I like the second one too.
And isn't Tim Martell the one you do the party?
Bi-weekly, we do a monthly party together.
In the village downtown. Right?
Yeah, in the village downtown. Beats, rhymes, and nightlife. So we take a pun off of the Tribe Called Quest album, and
which I'll be the guest DJ next week.
Yeah, he's the guest DJ for the next one. Yeah.
It's on Tuesday nights in we're in class. So.
Yeah. There it is.
I don't get to have fun during the semester, but that's why you don't see me.
That's why you don't see me.
That's why you don't see me at all.
Yeah. So we just kind of wanted to come up with, we wanted a place that was outside of the normal parties that were going on and play the same music and just do, a little bit of everything. So we'll play like some classic 90s hip hop joints. We'll play some new disco joints. We'll play some trap. We'll play some twerk. We'll play whatever we want. It's more about creating a great environment with good people.
I'm curious how your battle routines will sound. I'm curious how you came up with them. And so I know for the last demonstration, I wanted you to demonstrate just a little bit of battle stuff, but I'm really curious how, because it's timed, right? There's a time limit, and you've got to prepare how many months usually in advance?
It's just like
forever, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it depends on the battle.
It depends on the battle.
It depends on the battle, but then it's also, if you make it to the next round, you can't necessarily recycle the same routine, right? So you have to have
depending on the type of battle you're in. So, like I said, there's two. Like for me, I want two different categories of battling. So there's one category is considered showcase, where you just come up with the most original 6-minute composition that you have. And then there's the other battle, which is the supremacy battle, which is more like, it's a head-to-head, more like kind of like a tennis match. It's like a tournament style.
Like in Juice, for those of you who saw Juice, it's like that. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So which one are you going to
So I'm just going to do one routine, one of my older routines that I did against this guy. But I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna leave.
No, please.
No. You said keep it clean, so I was very profane when I did the
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna do the actual beat juggle portion of it. So, but it's time. We going back and forth.
Come on.
We're going back and forth. So I'm gonna do a section of it just on the beat juggle side.
I can do 3, so.
Yeah, we all got time.
Our train leaves at 2:45.
You're good for time. I know for students that have 1:30 classes, my 1:30 classes here, because we're not meeting 1:30, but for students that have 1:30 classes, it's 1:26. I just want to let you know that. So you can't blame me if you lose a class, so don't blame us. I don't need angry. But thank you for coming. But we are going to have a battle demonstration. So I'm going to lead off with.
We're gonna do a head-to-head thing.
I'm gonna just do one, and then
One, and I'll do one, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Go Esquire, go!
Came back. I wanted my default. Yeah.
So maybe just turn it on.
Don't clip it again.
Please.
All right, hold on.
Okay. So there's no default. Thank you, Mr. Sound Technician. Thank you.
Fuck a dump, motherfucker. Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, come on.
Now, technology was points for that.
Yeah, he didn't push the button long enough.
We're all one. We're all in this together. Peace, man. Peace.
Now, in terms of battling, I know that there's the 2014.
Yes, 2014 is here.
And a 13-year-old Dwells, right? Dwells? A 13-year-old won.
A 13-year-old won the New York City region.
Yeah, yeah, DJ Dwells.
It's pretty badass, this little guy.
Yeah, he's a little guy too.
Little guy. It's a little guy.
Yo, he's really very focused.
Yes, he is. He actually in 2013, the battle my regional battle in Connecticut that I won, that was his first battle he ever attended, and he's a student at the Scratch DJ Academy. So he said right after that battle that he wanted to enter. So he literally worked like 10 months to get his set ready for the New York Regional.
So his graduation set was pretty dope.
His graduation set was crazy. So yeah, he's been putting in a lot of work. He's gotten a lot of influence from us at the school, a lot of outside, some of Boogie's peers as well have been influencing him. And
I couldn't take the money. I couldn't take it.
It
came through. It was like, I was like, man.
Yeah, he's a sponge. Like he just soaked up everything he saw and just created a set that was his own. So it's funny because like I can see when you see a set, if you really study these DJs, you can see a little bit of every DJ that he took from in his set. So like, I'll see precision in it, I see shifty in it, I see, the dissonance is all me. That's all me. All the dissonance is all me.
I mean, some of that got to do with me.
So, but I mean, just to show you, like, the work that you put in, what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So he put 10 months of work in to get to that point, to be on that stage, even at the age of 13. So.
And once you win the regionals, you can then go on to compete in the worlds? Is that how
regionals, once you win the regionals, you compete you go to the nationals. Right.
And because you're the returning champion, what do you get to do?
So I get to sit back and wait for all of these minions to win their regionals. And then they get to see me at nationals.
Oh, okay. So your default, you get to bypass.
I bypass all that, which is not fun because I don't get to pick up the little prizes on the way. So that's kind of not fun for me.
That's the purpose of doing it.
That's the whole point of doing it, is like getting the little prizes, winning the mixes, winning the equipment. Like for me, like I haven't bought equipment in 15 years. All I've been doing is doing battles and winning the equipment.
I don't want to say how many years, and then y'all gonna really figure out my age.
And remember, he's a year older than me, so no.
No.
Yeah. That's all good. It's all good.
Excuse me.
What do they say? 20 is the new 30, 40 is the new.
Oh.
We're in between.
Yeah,
so I know that Babu is the person who kind of trademarked the whole turntablism, turntable artist, with Beat Junkies. But I know when I talked to DJ Scratch, another person I care for dearly, about where the craft is going, so now I know Scratch has a new part of his repertoire. He actually picks up the turntable, pick it up, and keeps it. I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
There's the Jason. I mean, he has his patented routines.
Right.
The one thing he was talking about is, where's it going to go? Like, how fast can you scratch? And you're scratching upside down, underwater. Blindfolded.
Here's the thing.
The Oracle is speaking.
Don't pinpoint what you can't do. If you can't do the crab scratch or the flare scratch or whatever scratch is happening at the moment, either you practice it and figure it out, don't hate on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying people are haters or whatever, but that particular era of DJs, I see them come to the new battles and they're like, this is noisy. I'm like, you're not even understanding what this person is trying to do, so how can you pinpoint on what's noise and what's actually authentic and understandable? I don't like that personally. Like I mean, for instance, when we were coming up, Craze, A-Track developed, they were the king of the hills. They were the creme de la creme, Clever, all those guys, they were the top of the hill. There were certain routines where, at the time, they was trying to modulate frequencies. It was a mixer called the Vestex, and they had certain features where you can make similar to what Esquire was doing, you know. And at the time, people were like, man, that's a bunch of noise. Man, I can't stand they not the same no more. But in reality, it's all evolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything evolves. I mean, we could say Steve D is the creator of beat juggling, but there's 9 to 10 people that's made a similar or even better beat juggles after that. And that's what's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be a 13-year-old kid,
right,
you know what I'm saying, doing that. You know, so I don't agree with certain people when they're like, oh, the scratching is this, the scratching is that. It's like, because you can't do it.
Well, I think what, I know you're not responding particularly to scratch, but I think, you know, in terms of evolution, you know, there is this conversation that people are having about the aesthetic of the craft and where it can go.
I mean, you have to embrace every form that comes with the DJ battle, per se.
Okay.
In the club, that's something different. You know, when you just press the sync button and you throw in confetti, I don't know about that. But I'm saying, as far as DJ battles concerned,
right, and turntablism, where do you envision it evolving to?
I mean, I think it took a decline, in my personal opinion, because you had people who weren't aware of the new stages or new patterns or new developments of styles. So when you pop up to the DJ battle with your chain and you know, whatever, and you're really not researching any of the people that's in the battle, it kind of makes you look stupid to make a comment on it if you don't understand what's happening. And if you don't understand, you should ask. Instead of, man, I don't know how, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. This is just a whole bunch of noise. You just make yourself seem ignorant. That's just my personal opinion.
So when you look at old footage of you from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, do you evaluate that and say, like, I could do that better? Is there any kind of progression in the craft?
I honestly, seriously, I would love to do some of the routines I was doing 10 years ago, but I don't think that's not going to work for me.
Okay.
You know, but at the same time, there's still certain things that I see that people can't do now. And that's what I work on, the strong parts. I mean, there's always going to be strengths and weaknesses or whatever you did. A lot of people don't like some of the stuff they did years ago or what have you, or what got them to where they are.
Right.
But the fact remains is you're still going to be a student, you still have to learn, and you still have to be just as creative as when you were 10 years ago. You know, it's like, you know, that's why I wouldn't have got far if he didn't realize that you couldn't do what we was doing 10 years ago, 2 years ago. That's just that's a classic example. Like, and I've seen people from our generation still battle, and from generations way before us still trying to battle. And it hurts my heart because you're so stuck in a time warp that you're not understanding that there's so much more going on than you may think is going on. Because they're just in their zone. They don't want to take criticism. They don't put themselves out there to get ridiculed. They don't go around the younger generation and try to learn. That's what things get wrong. Like, it's like you shouldn't always have to go to the old guy to be like, yo, how do you do this? It should be vice versa too. It can't be one way. As far as battling is concerned.
Now, for you battling, we talked about some of the progression with technology. You know, where do you envision it going in terms of turntable arts? What do you?
I mean, I just think the technology is really heavily influencing where it is currently and where it's going to go. I mean, there's going to be better mixers that's going to be developed to enhance another feature, and it's just going to come up to the creativity of said DJ to manipulate it in a way that's technical and musical. So, I mean, it's kind of endless where it's gonna go. There is no end point, because just with the technology alone, I'd always, like, before the technology, when you just had records, there was so much you could do with records. Right. Then it came to the point where mixers were being evolved, like you're saying, using the frequency back in the 2000 era. Now you have the technology of Serato, where you're manipulating MP3s. I'd say it's more of a production thing now. A lot of DJs are producing their own sets as opposed to taking music that exists now. A lot of DJs have moved into the producer realm and are coming up with their own sets. So, you know, it's kind of a gift and a curse. It's a great thing to be creative in that way, but again, a lot of the basic functions, the basic principles of DJing get lost in that sometimes. So it's up to, you know, what DJs can do it to kind of bridge the gap between both. It's like, you can be creative, you can produce all these things, but there still has to be some semblance of the originality of where the form came from.
Now you mentioned music production, and I do, most people I hope know that a lot of the music producers, particularly for hip hop, were DJs first. So I mentioned Premier, I mentioned Scratch. I mean, definitely, I think Lord Finesse is somebody. You know, Dr. Dre also was a DJ first. Yeah. So, and I know that you're now branching. You're like going really hardcore into Ableton and music production, aren't you, Blind?
Yes, I am.
And so for future projects, I know you've got something going on with PTSD.
Yes, I have the title track on Pharrell Marshall's new album. It's called Post Traumatic Stress Disorder.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I mean, I've done a lot of hand over fist work, though. Yeah. A lot of hand over fist, you know, the drug dealers, the songs coming out, it's really never coming out, right, but they pay you anyway. Like, I've done a lot of that. Now, that's what got me through the rough time as a DJ.
Yeah.
Another set of relationships. You have to have them. But, yeah, this is going to be like my first actual on piece of paper placement that's going to be registered through ASCAP this week.
Okay. And I know that you had done some work in the past, Jean Grey?
Yes, I did that. You know, I did that. That song is registered to Case
But I know you're working with Lord Finesse.
Doing some stuff with Ness. I just submitted some beats to Vinny Paz. I got a couple of things I'm trying to line up, but right now I don't want to just like jinx myself. I just want to keep working.
But you are going to just branch more. You think you're going to branch more heavily into music production?
Yeah. Okay. I don't have any choice.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun being in the lab. Now, what are your future projects? Before we go open up the floor for questions.
Yeah, I'm currently also working in Ableton. So at Scratch, we also teach music production. So I'm sitting in on all of those classes, just learning the intricacies of Ableton. And I'm going to produce my own instrumental kind of
thing. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that's kind of in the works for the future. But I don't know, like, I mean, I was talking to Blonde about this earlier, about even thinking about defending the title this year. So, you know, I have to start getting work together on that if I'm going to choose to do that. So, you know, I'm trying to put my hands in a lot of different places. You know, I got the party thing going. I have, you know, the mixtape things on SoundCloud, my radio shows. So I have a lot of hats that I got to wear. So I just got to figure out what's the right road for me. And a lot of travel coming up too. I have tours coming up in Europe over the next couple of months. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, So,
especially Amsterdam, right?
No, actually, Amsterdam was not as much fun as some other places that I've been to. So, yeah.
I'd like to take this time to open up the floor for questions. I know there's some people that, there's somebody who would ask me.
What's a good mixer to buy?
Hold on, I don't know if this is, let me see if this is wireless.
There's no wire.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Oh,
there you go. Figure out how to get it out.
Let's get something out.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, thank you. Okay.
1, 2, documentary.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what would you guys recommend as a good mixer for a beginner?
So there's a company right now, I'm not promoting any company, but I'm just saying, there's a company called DJ Tech that recently put out a really good mixer. It's $200, and it basically has everything you need as a beginner, from the EQs, it's like no bells and whistles. It's pretty much very stripped down, crossfader, volume fader, and EQs, and everything you need just as a beginner. But the thing about that mixer that sets it apart, its crossfader is in line with a lot of the high-end mixers. So you can do a lot of the real intricate cuts. They sound just as sharp on that $200 mixer than it does on a $2,000 mixer. So that's kind of what sets it apart. For a beginner, I would suggest that. Yeah, that's me.
I would go with that. But if you're stacking your bread,
It would be nice to get
it would be
Nice to get a 62. It's nice to have a 62. I'll never go back from a 62.
Only because the mixer prior to that, they're trying to like discontinue it, and also there's Tractor. You know, Tractor's not bad. Tractor's not a bad idea.
It's not a rain.
Or I mean,
don't get caught up in the names though. Like there's a lot of quality that's not Rain and not Techniques. There's a lot of different.
The thing about that is, if you don't want to aspire to be a turntablist or a battle DJ, there is nothing wrong with you going to the store, spending $500 and getting Serato Itch, and you have the best of both worlds. Because at this point, I'm not saying that you don't play vinyl. I'm not going to say that because I don't.
I got Techniques.
Okay. Just so there you have it. Then you might want to get you a little Serato box or a Tractor thing and get that $200 mixer.
We have another question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just one quick question. Like, do you feel like with being that with I guess the way technology is evolving, do you feel that eventually like you feel like you won't have any opportunity to do this anymore? Being that with time changing.
I hope not. I hope that, like for me, I mean, I've been doing this 20 years and I've evolved with it. So I started out from the vinyl era, and now I'm here in the digital era. I'm still here. I'm gonna be here when there's robots trying to DJ in the club and trying to kick me out the club. I'm still gonna be here. So yeah, I mean, I think both of us we're the testament that we'll never be extinct because we came from the beginnings of all of this. We came from that vinyl era, collecting records, putting that cue point on a record, figuring out every song, sitting there playing the record and counting on my watch to get the BPM for a minute, and then taking the next song and then doing the same thing over and over again. So we came from there, and we're still here today, and we're gonna be here tomorrow.
Yeah,
Lord willing, right?
I would have to say, to answer his question as well as learning the new technology, two of the people that showed me this initially, like in 2003 going on 2004, is like damn near 60 years old and still DJing to this day. The original Jazzy J and a couple of other people that actually are sponsored by this program. So, to see somebody that's 60 years old telling me how to use the new technology, and because the people in my age group are busy touring or doing something, that just shows you right there that this isn't like sports. You know what I'm saying? Where your leg get injured, or you got a bad back, or you tore your fibula and you can't do this. This is like music is everlasting. You know what I'm saying? Like whether you DJ, sing, a musician, play instrument, whatever. Like you can't. I don't really see yourself hurting yourself unless a speaker falls on you or something like that. So you can do this to the death. It's just all about your hustle and your determination. That's what is the bottom line.
I just have. All right.
Last question. There's only two. Last question. You had all the questions. You had all the questions. How you gonna do that to the people?
They don't want
Give the people what they want.
You have a question? Oh, okay. We have another question.
Okay, there we go.
I got a question on what you guys think about like the evolution of DJing so far, because you take a look back like 10 years or so, you've been saying, and that's when hip hop DJing was like really strong and on its rise. But now we look at the EDM scene and it's kind of taken over, but it's sort of evolving towards now like more of the trap kind of stuff. But that sounds more along the lines of like hip hop beats, So like, do you feel the hip hop DJ is going to have a bigger comeback soon, or like?
I don't think the hip hop DJ ever.
Yeah, it never died though. It never died, but
like it never went anywhere. I think the EDM and trap scene and drum and bass scene and dubstep scene and glitch hop and garage and all that stuff is all under the same umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Drum and bass used the hip hop break forever. Dubstep uses rub, dub, and reggae influences. So it's not like it's not really about the DJ. I really think it's about the music. Like if you like EDM and trap, you're gonna go see an EDM and trap DJ. You're gonna go to Terminal 5 and see so and so. If you like hip hop, you're gonna go to Sutra on a Tuesday night and see DJ so and so. If you like some dark ambient kind of crazy shit. You're gonna go to fucking, you know, you're gonna go to Reconstruction, and only you're gonna know where to find out how to get there because they don't promote it and stuff like that because it exists. It exists. It's not like the UK used to be. The UK 10, 12 years ago was like, you know, they invented the rave. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of adapted to that culture, but it ain't nothing like out there. Like it's never, you can't compete with it. As much money as people put into it, it's not going to be the same feeling as it is out there because that's their movement. But it's just going worldwide now. It's nothing you can do. You have to play EDM in a hip hop club now. You have to play it.
Yeah.
Before, people were scared to play it. And then when some of the hip hop DJs tried to play it, people looked at you like you was crazy, but it was like, yo, I just came from Europe. This is what's happening. You're late. You know, and that's usually the case in America. They usually try to make it seem like it's the other way around, but it's not like that.
And a lot of the music is, I mean, not a lot, but some of it is influenced from hip hop anyway. So, you know, for me, I love educating my audience. So I'm gonna find that original sample of everything,
right,
and fuse it into a set.
So, right, and you don't see a lot of EDM DJs doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't understand that. Like the first 3 or 4 Daft Punk albums were all disco samples.
Exactly.
Like they weren't just like they made those up in the studio. They were sampling.
Can I show one?
Yeah, can I just go for an example?
Can I just show just one, please? Oh, we don't have time.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
oh, we do have
we
time.
really do.
You know,
And I think we have another.
Dr. Mitchell, I think you're being very selfish again.
Dr. Mitchell, give the people what they want.
I think we have time. We're good.
Even Duck Sauce, their latest song is a sample.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like
Oh, Barbara Streisand.
no, the time one.
Oh, okay.
Even a new one.
Everybody sampled all kinds of
Alright, so
this is the old disco record from just their creativity on the production tip turned it into something else. So, but it stemmed from a disco record. I'm gonna play the break in a second.
That's a tricky one, Esquire.
What's that?
It's a tricky one.
That's a tricky one? I'll show you right now.
Hey. One more time.
Exactly. So it all stemmed from something. So whether it's hip hop, disco, you can't escape it. You can't escape it.
And then I believe there's a question.
So I don't know. I know you guys talked about it a little bit about the producing. Is it smart to go this way, DJing and then become a producer, or how does that work?
Well, I think today it's a lot different than it was back then. A lot of producers were DJs first, while today there's so many production tools available. As long as you have a good sense of music theory, you can produce, and creativity and idea, you can produce. It helps. I think it helps to have a DJ background because as a DJ, you kind of know what people want to hear in the club, so you can kind of take that and put it to an idea that you might have. So I think you could go either way. I think if you're a consumer, just you know what you like to hear when you go out and party.
Right.
So you might take that idea back to a production tool and create it. It doesn't. Either way, it's cool, yeah.
Also, it depends on, you know, if that's what you want to do. If you would like to DJ, that's cool. But the way, as we keep saying, as technology is, there's so much affordable, you know, production. I'm seeing people making hit records on GarageBand. So,
yeah.
You know, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's different when a DJ, like, you don't want to just buy no cheap equipment because, you know, it's like, it's not going to work, you know, but as far as production. Like you can find cracked versions of Reason, all kind of stuff on the internet. You don't have to pay for it.
We're not condoning that, but we're just saying. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, we download illegal production equipment on the internet.
Yes.
Other people do. We do not.
Yes. I don't know about those guys.
Off the record.
Off the record, yes. We'll take the red tape off of that.
Are there any more questions or comments before? Oh.
We got one in the back. One in the back.
I was wondering if you could recommend any type of programs that would be easy to use. Because I have a MPD 26, a MIDI controller.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out like how to use it with Ableton Live Lite that I have.
Yeah, I mean, Ableton's a beast of a program, but you know, you can get it. Depends on what you want to do to make it work the way you want it to work. If you talk about DJ programs that you can use, or DJ programs, I mean, you can link that to just about. You can link that system to just about any program, just with MIDI control. Just you can take Serato, you can take Tractor, you can take Mix Vibes. I mean, there's so many different programs out there. Serato and Tractor are going to be the ones that you hear the most because it's the most predominant in the DJ culture today. So, but you can take that system and set it to trigger off different commands in the program and be cool with it. There are some other controllers that are geared more so towards the programs that you may want to look into, like Pioneer has a lot of things, Newmark has a lot of things. So you might want to look, if you're looking for kind of a soul DJ component, there are some out there. But you can take what you have and kind of trigger it to any system that you want to.
Yeah, you have a pretty good piece of equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Any other questions or comments?
Also, it depends if you're a wave reader or you're a hands-on kind of guy. You know, if you read waves pretty well, you might want to go with Ableton or Reason. If you're more of a hands-on guy, you might want to go with some other programs.
What would you recommend for someone who's more of a hands-on, not so much like a wave reader, like you were saying?
Yeah, wave reader is definitely Ableton. Ableton is the way to go.
No, I'm saying if you're not a wave reader.
If you're not a wave reader, I would go with, depending on the type of music you want to make, I would go with the MPC Renaissance because that's very hands-on and you can hook up any, with the Renaissance you can do so much more. You can actually, you can trigger all of your sounds through the VXT, which is kind of like MIDI, and at the same time, once you finish all your sequencing, there's a setting on there where you can keep it in song mode and it'll bounce it for you, and wherever you want or whatever program that you're going to do your final mixing in, whether it's Logic or Reason or whatever, you can just drop it in there and it'll do it individually for you. So I mean, the MPC Renaissance is not only a dope sequencer, but it kind of like eliminates certain things that you had to do before, like locking the beat and then having to, you know, it was so much work it's too much tedious work that you have to do, but the Renaissance is pretty good. And they have two different versions. You can get the MPC Studio, which is pretty much no audio in, so you wouldn't be able to sample or whatever from vinyl. You would have to have it on your desktop and do all your work like that, and that's actually even cheaper.
Okay.
That's about like $400.
Any final? Okay, last one. Last one.
Oh, okay.
You guys got it.
Oh, we're supposed to call it cab, right?
2:15.
We good. Yes.
Can you have someone?
Well, you talked about music production, and I got into music production last year, and I started using FL Studio. And for me personally, it's like more hands-on. I think it's a lot easier to navigate, but what would you guys recommend? Because a lot of
it's all what you're comfortable with. Whatever you feel, don't just go off of what we're telling you. Whatever you think is comfortable for you. I know some people that still use the SP1200, and that's like a dinosaur as far as technology is concerned. But that's what they're still
making crazy music.
They still make crazy music off it. Yeah, so it's like whatever your feeling is, if you feel it's easy to navigate in that, if you just need like some extra like sounds or stuff like that, the plugins, that's like what you might want to use. But other than that, Stick to what works.
Yeah, stick to what you know. Like if you've kind of mastered that program in and out, then it's just a matter of getting the sounds and plugins to create what you want to create. So
it's kind of nerd talk right now, right? Tech talk.
Not necessarily.
Plugins or
what, you thought you was the only nerd here?
It's just a matter of getting the sounds that you want and just using that tool to produce it. That's what it's all coming down to. Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Pretty good too.
That's good. Yeah, like you straight.
What you do? All you need is plugins.
Man.
Again, don't go to the internet and download.
Yeah, don't get those download torrent cracks. We don't condone that. Make sure that's on camera.
Yeah. Well, this concludes our Elements of Style.
Oh, we just got
here. Regrettably, it's time to go. I'm grateful to both of you for being able to take time out of your very, very, very busy schedules to come talk to me, talk to our students. Oh my God!
I just want to say thank y'all for coming, and
absolutely thank y'all.
Anything that we did can touch y'all and help y'all in any way, man. We appreciate it.
Twitter,
Twitter, Facebook,
at DJ Boogie Blind,
no DJ, at Boogie Blind,
Esquire,
no DJ, just at Boogie Blind on everything.
Facebook, at DJ Esquire NYC for everything.
And also, I'm grateful to everybody who's able to come. And with the posters, people have been requesting that they autograph. So I'm going to set them up at the table out here, and they can do some signing. And then they got to go, and I got to go.